Hello everybody, Bill Harrison here with Harden Power Systems. Wanted to take a few minutes, introduce you to something that we're pretty excited about, considering how long it's been in the making. Many of you may be familiar with our LongShot product line. This is a system that's designed specifically for the GoPro series cameras, and it allows the user to eliminate the internal battery in the GoPro and make a connection to the camera that allows the camera to be powered from an external source of power. We invented this back in 2013, caused a bit of a stir when we did it. There's since been certainly some copies. And I suppose competition in that sense we welcome. It's healthy, it's good, it keeps you on your toes, and honestly, when you're building the best thing out there, it actually helps to have other people building things that are not the best out there. And I say that with a high degree of confidence. If you look on our website, on the product page for the LongShot, and you see our customer list, these are some serious folks doing serious work. And of course, there's also a heck of a lot of people just like you and me doing not so serious, fun stuff with the LongShot, which is great. So anyway, primarily what I wanted to do was to introduce the second generation. This has been, obviously several years in the works, but for the most part, we've been incorporating improvements into the LongShot and not necessarily listing or publishing those improvements. We've just been improving the system and shipping the systems. And it's overdue for us to explain to people what the latest state-of-the-art is in GoPro battery elimination. So what we're looking at here is a pretty standard 60-meter underwater case with a Hero3 installed. And I'll go ahead and remove our battery eliminator, and I'll set the Hero3 aside. So here you can see the LongShot G3 Mark II. Mark II, because of course this is a significant change over the original offering, and G3 because it's meant to work with the Hero3 cameras. Now this is our battery eliminator. It's a coupler, so it obviously mimics the size and the electrical contacts of the standard GoPro internal battery. And we've got electronics that will accept a variety of DC voltages and then correctly alter that voltage to what the camera wants to see, as if there was a battery inside it. And you can actually run anywhere from 5 volts up to 24 volts into our system. And because of that, it invites a wide range of different electrical connections that I'll mention in a moment. But let's just let's take a look at installing the camera, which is extremely simple. Obviously, we've removed the battery as well as the little metal plate that snaps in over top of the battery. You just snap that coupler in, and it latches just like the battery latches. It's not going anywhere, it's in there. And then we set the camera into the case, we close the case, toggle the latch over, that nice firm click. Now the camera is inside the LongShot. It is entirely waterproof at this point. We use a real high quality stainless steel gland fitting here, which pinches down very nicely on our power cord. And we do have a variety of customers that run these systems underwater almost continuously. Now, the power cable, and I know that, you know, you look at this and it's basically just a piece of wire, and I get it, it is just a piece of wire, but it took us quite a while to find exactly what we wanted, and we finally did. This is extremely tough. It's UV resistant, oil resistant, abrasion resistant. It's low loss cable. It's really nice, but the main thing that we wanted to do was we wanted that list of benefits, but we also wanted this very supple feel and behavior. It's not quite like a silicone noodle wire, but it's close. It is just such a delight in the hand. It feels good. It really follows what you want it to do. It'll tolerate tight bends with little or no memory. It really is nice. And I don't mean to get all excited about a piece of wire, but it took a while to find the right stuff, and we're liking what we found. Another thing that's new on the new LongShot is we're incorporating a ferrite choke here. Some people would say this is overkill, and in many cases it is not strictly necessary. But ferrite does an awesome job of absorbing any spurious RF radiation, and it in cases where maybe the camera is being run alongside other equipment, especially any sorts of transformers or emitters of RF, this choke can save you from having the unexplained camera interference or shutdowns or trouble or whatever. Now also, this connector, which is typically called an SAE J plug or a flat plug, not unusual, not too different than what you might see in like a trailer connection to a vehicle, except this one's only 2 poles. What this allows us to do is to offer a wide variety of connections to a power source. Let me show you that. Okay, so one of the strengths of our system is all this cool stuff that works with it. Now, in every case, these different connectors or power solutions are using that same SAE flat plug. This means that you cannot reverse polarity accidentally. And you know, clearly it takes no tools. It's a very quick thing to plug and unplug things. And truly, it's one of the strengths of a system like the LongShot. What you're talking about is the ability to power a GoPro camera, Hero3 or Hero4, from a USB source, strictly a car battery, an AC power source, frankly even solar. I can show you our solution for that. Let's just real quickly take these one at a time. So this is pretty obvious. Male cigarette plug to J plug. So plug this into your vehicle, plug this into the LongShot, and the camera is going to run as long as that outlet has power. We've got a lot of truckers and professional drivers and just enthusiasts or whatever for either insurance reasons, security reasons, and they'll run a GoPro, sometimes more than one, like on the dashboard or on the exterior of a vehicle, and just let it run continuously. This is also fairly obvious. Battery clamps, the same SAE. This is more for situations if you're making a temporary connection or you need to be able to switch vehicles quickly. But obviously you can just clamp that on to any DC battery, anywhere from 5 to 24 volts, and run. Ring terminals, okay, same SAE connector. And then ring terminals. Now these typically would be applied to a battery. And most of our customers that are using this, they're mounting the cameras on helicopters or boats, motorcycles, things where they need a connection to the battery that's resistant to vibration. And then this also fairly obvious. So this is an AC to DC transformer, commonly called a wall wart. It's global voltage, so it'll work worldwide as long as you have the physical adapter for the different form factors of receptacles. And then we've again added a ferrite choke, probably for obvious reasons. You know, clearly in this scenario, you are adjacent to AC. And it just makes it more likely you're not going to have trouble with your camera. But in this scenario, just plug it into the wall, plug this into your LongShot, and you can run it indefinitely. We've got customers like universities, schools, laboratories, building like maintenance and activity tracking and things. They'll use that where they can just plug into an AC source and forget about it. Then another connector is a standard USB type A, and again to the SAE. So in this scenario, you know, plug into a USB power bank or battery or computer. The only thing I would say is make sure that you're getting maybe about 2 amps or so out of your USB source. The GoPro cameras can be kind of power hungry depending on settings like ProTune and Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So if you're running USB and your camera is shutting down when you don't expect it to, I would suspect that first. Make sure that you have enough amperage coming out of your USB connection. And then one thing I mentioned was solar, and I don't want to get too far afield in this video, but this is one of our backpacks. So this is a product that we make that interfaces with a common battery size, and it allows you to have Anderson outs. Okay, so in this scenario we have an Anderson going again to that J plug, and obviously you can plug power in here, connect your LongShot. Now if you did that, like in this scenario, clearly you're running off this battery, and believe me, a 10 amp hour battery like this will run a GoPro for a long time. You know, you're talking days. But what you could also do is use the solar version of our backpack. It's a unit that looks very much like this, but it's solar capable. You could plug a solar panel into the backpack, plug the LongShot into one of the leads, and you know, you can be running in the middle of nowhere. More or less indefinitely, you know, certainly until you need to swap memory cards. So again, here is the LongShot G3 Mark II. I suppose I should probably how about we just power this up so you guys know that the thing actually does something instead of just looking cool. So we'll do what I just described. We'll take one of our backpacks. We'll take this SAE to Anderson adapter. We'll plug the LongShot into that adapter. Now, when we turn the camera on, the camera is going to think that it has a full battery, which I guess it does, but it's going to think it's got a full battery for as long as this battery has power. And that's the LongShot G3 Mark II. It is exactly that simple. I guess to try to anticipate maybe some questions, we will offer custom cable lengths. That's no problem. If something other than the standard 10 feet, because that's what we'll do. We'll automatically make these 10 feet long. If something other than that makes sense to you, we'll probably cut it down at no charge. And if you need like a significantly longer length, just call the shop or email us and we'll figure something out for you. And then, because earlier I mentioned the LongShot Hero3. This is the LongShot G4 Mark II. And if you're familiar with the Hero3 camera, it uses a different battery scheme, and this is how we were able to power that camera and still maintain waterproofness. Really a neat setup. And everything else that I just described on the G3 applies to this. Same wire, same ferrite, same connection scheme, virtually identical installation. Clearly no tools or anything required. It's very straightforward. You know, I guess the last thing I'd like to say is, man, we've got some neat customers doing some pretty crazy stuff with our LongShots, and I have to say that personally, I'm pretty proud of this system. You know, anytime you're building something that earns a reputation for quality and for toughness, for reliability, it's just neat, because the stories you get are almost always good ones, and happy customers tend to tell friends and colleagues, and that's what allows us to sell items like the LongShot and not pay for advertising. And you know, you folks are doing that for us because you're happy with our gear, and that means a great deal. So just from all our people and myself to you guys, thanks for that. It means a lot, and we appreciate it, and we don't take it lightly. And then I guess last note, as far as, you know, it's one thing to claim that your stuff is good and tough and reliable. We back that up with the best warranty in the industry, and that's a 2-year warranty. If anything goes wrong with your system, just call the shop or email us. With very, very few exceptions, if there's something wrong with your stuff and you get it to us, we'll simply make it right and get it back to you. And those exceptions are, I mean, if you, I don't know, the example that comes to mind is like the Army Rangers. You know, those fellas, I mean, they can break a box of hammers just doing their job. So there are some rare cases where, you know, if you drive over our LongShot with a striker vehicle, we probably won't just automatically fix it for free. But if you're anything remotely like a normal user, if you have any trouble, just call us and give us an opportunity to make it right. So in any event, this is Bill Harrison with Harden Power Systems. Thank you very much for your time and your attention. Come see us at portableuniversalpower.com. You can also use the link GoProLonger.com. So thanks for your time, folks. Take care. We'll see you.